do I want or what item do I think? I want bombs. I think they're going to get a red cane.
All right. You know what? I have not seen either of those lately in the last couple of races that I've been commentating, so I'd be excited and hyped for either of those. But I feel like with the fighter shield here that we've just received from Zelda's house, or from, sorry, Link's house, oh my goodness, that we're going to get a more traditional one-handed weapon. So I'm going to go with the hammer today.
Don't worry, Zelda's the boy now, so it's all fine. We are on our way. You see that we got some different sprites here. We got Zelda using the Moogle from Final Fantasy 6, and GTG is going to be using Pink Link. I like that sprite a whole lot.
Yeah, I think especially in homage to today being Mother's Day in North America, we get the Cane of Berna, so blue cane. Not too bad. The interesting thing about this particular weapon is our runners are going to have to really manage their mana power over the course of the escape sequence. There's a couple of pots that they can, of course, pick up, but it is really kind of one of those stressful things for a runner.
Yeah, basically you just want to have enough mana to be able to get that last hit on the rat there at the end to get that key. If you run out of mana, you will have to do either a save and quit or just die.
Yeah, they're going to want to take as many opportunities as they can to farm for a bomb. And that is really where like the line is going to be crossed. Do you accidentally use too much magic farming for bombs? If you're not careful, that's a very big possibility.
I think you have to do it at the right places. Like I would do it here where you can get two guards at once.
Absolutely. But both of our runners are just making a straight beeline for the dungeon area. Another good location is in the escape sequence itself. There's a pocket of rats that we often don't see up in the top right corner of the first kind of watery room. And you can get like 4 or 5 at once there.
Yeah, Snake Hallway is another good place, especially with the blue cane, because it does lag a little bit, but you can kill like 4 or 5 of them real fast right there.
Absolutely. So, of course, the real problem with the hunt for a bomb here is you never know when you're going to find the power glove or your first lift upgrade. So if you don't manage to get into the back of escape sequence early on, it could become a potential progression required location. We find the Moon Pearl here immediately off one of the first chests of the game.
Yeah, they'll be happy to see that. There's 2 sets of 3 items that can point to either early Dark World access or Aghanim. Moon Pearl points towards early Dark World access, but we still got a lot of places to check.
Yep, this very early to sell, but that's a nice indicator. It also means that certain like logical path or sequence breaks will be potentially available to them. Fig flippers is sort of becomes a little bit more efficient once you have the Moon Pearl.
Well, getting a 300 rupee drop early also helps with that. They need 500 to get to Zora. They're going to be using 100 to get to the bottle vendor, but they're still halfway there.
Yeah, it's looking pretty nice. This is a nice solid start for the runners. Can't really complain there. Getting a swag net out of Zelda's cell there.
It's not necessarily ever anything that you need, but it is something that's just nice to have, especially if you do not find a lot of cards or if you do not find blue or red mail relatively early or at all.
Yeah, just give you a little bit of additional safety, being able to scoop up a fairy from time to time.
So for anybody who's watching this who has not watched one of these randomizers before, this is Link to the Past. This is very similar to the 1991 original game. How you want to get 7 crystals, you want to get Ganon's Tower, kill Ganon. However, all the items are randomized in locations. We see that we got the Moon Pearl early here in Hyrule Castle. We've already got a blue cane, which is an optional item in the regular game. We may not find a sword for 45 minutes. We may not find a hookshot for an hour and a half. These racers are going to have to think on their feet, make decisions, and figure out where they need to go, what they can do, and the best way to go about it, and try to finish faster than the other player.
Yep, and the fun is really kind of trying to see what logical trees they plan out based on the items that they have, and what is completable and what is not completable at any given time. So Zelgadissan is going to go pick up an extra little mini pod of magic there, a couple just to refill the magic meter, allow for some more bomb farming.
Oh, and GTG getting his bomb here in the snake hallway, and so does Zelga.
Along with a full magic refill. That's really nice.
There's the small key. We knew it had to be in there. So we still got 3 chests here in the back of the escape and the sanctuary chest. I believe one of them is going to be the map. We'll see just which chest it happens to be.
Yeah, you couldn't have asked for a nicer start there with when you have Caterburna to grab a bomb and a full magic refill right at the end. Ooh, a couple of big 20s there for GTG as well. Just a little bit extra rupees is going to potentially be an important factor in this early sequence.
Yeah, rupees are really nice to get in the first like 20 minutes or so. After that, you kind of don't want to see them in chests as much anymore, but getting them early is nice. And getting that bottle early is also very nice.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to activate the Sick Kid check in Kakariko Village when they first get there. Not having to route that back in again is always a bonus, along with a piece of heart.
We'll be seeing around a 6:10 escape from both of these guys. Very, very good time. You really want to see around a 6 to 6:15 on escape, especially with the Burna.
Yep, it's about pretty much par for the course there. They didn't have too many hiccups finding all of their bombs, and refill of the magic meter there in the snake hallway was excellent. They grab a big 20 on the way out of Sanctuary, so they're pretty much on pace for a standard entrance into Kakariko Village. Now, the big question here, of course, Virtual Cat, is going to be, do they go and look at the Lumberjack house or not?
I tend to always do it. I always like doing it. You do save some time if you go back and check out. Oh, we just got a map check. Looks like a red pennant on Hera and blue crystals on both Eastern and Desert.
Oh, some additional bombs out of this bush crab is always a great find. Unfortunately, that one bomb getting kind of locked on zelgadissan side.
He'll get another shot at the one in the Lost Woods. But yeah, getting bombs, you really want about 4 or 5 by the time you leave Kakariko.
Yeah,
and GTG getting a good drops on them.
So we saw a 10 bomb pack in the Lumberjack, back of Lumberjack Cave. That's not going to be an indicator that AGA is going to be required. It's always nice to see if you're a runner, and less exciting if you're a viewer.
So see Zelga picking up those other bombs from the bush crab there.
So both of our runners have a very healthy amount of bombs for clearing Kakariko Village. Just a big 20 in the mushroom spot. Neither is going to go out of their way to pick that up. And we'll take a look at what's inside the back of the bandits' hideaway.
Blue mail.
Yeah, wow, that's a nice little early opening start. It's just going to make everything hit a little bit less hard, especially since they're both at 3 hearts and we've had not very many pieces of heart at this early juncture.
Yeah, they're pretty much lock and step with each other here. I know GTG. GTG's done a lot of speed racing in the past. He plays a lot of Celeste lately, but he's also, you saw on his file screen, Happy Mother's Day, his mom actually plays a lot of Randomizer, and his mom's favorite game is Binding of Isaac, I learned.
Oh, wow. So almost synchronized Blind's Hut as we get 5 checks in this location inside Kakariko Village. We see 50 rupees from the first chest. Another bottle with this one with a B in it. The bow! 50 more rupees. A big D in Blind's Hut is always a very nice find. It's going to activate Eastern Palace. Oh, a sword to go along with it.
So are we sure that these racers aren't just one person playing with one controller on 2 screens?
So that is a great start. Now they're equipped with ranged weapons. They've got a little bit of protection. They've got some magic attack. And now they've got the sword as well. So they're in a good spot.
So I'm pretty sure both of these racers know the Eastern Palace Dark Rooms. They can just go ahead and finish Eastern at this point. Get that crystal out of the way.
Yeah, red mail here in the back of the well. That's another great little protection item.
And the mushroom.
Yeah, this is very interesting. 3-heart red mail is kind of a strange start when you think about it. Typically, by now, they'll have picked up enough pieces of heart or heart containers to at least have 4 or 5 when you leave Kakariko Village, but they have only seen 1, I believe, at this time, so...
And GGG freeing the chicken there, so is Zelka.
Wow,
Getting the mirror.
mirror. This seed is giving them all the goodies, it seems, at the start, so... Should make for a very interesting race. Lots of potential item or pathway choices for them to make through the game at this point.
The sick kid just giving him a piece of heart. Still not even 4 heart containers yet.
Mm-hmm. Of course, with the red mail, it's not going to be too bad. Another piece of heart here in the back of the tavern. 1 more for a complete heart container now. I wonder if they see one in the maze game, if they might choose to actually go ahead and grab that just for the little bit of insurance.
No, 300 rupees at the library. I don't think they'll be coming back for that.
Not with the amount of rupees they already have. Both are very close to, if not already exceeding Zora money.
And magic powder at the race game. That's a much better location to find that than, say, on the lumberjack ledge or the pedestal, but still.
Yeah, and as well, to go along with their bug net, that's also actually a very nice thing, considering the low amount of hearts they have at this early part of the game. It'll give them a little bit more survivability in the event that they get caught out of position at some point.
Zelda wins the race game there with 8 seconds versus GGG's 9 seconds.
So with both runners saving and quitting here, I'm expecting them to leave their Link's house, head down south to the dam area, get those 2 checks, and then perhaps head over to Mini Moldorm. It's interesting, if you see a runner at this juncture taking the pathway to Agina's Cave. Oh, look at this.
Oh, wow!
Going for another fairly rarely seen check into the fake flipper situation. Gonna head up and turn in that mushroom. Interesting.
I mean, it was kind of pointing that way. I wouldn't be shocked to see something nice here.
Yeah. We'll see if this really pays off. It's not a very long check. I mean, it's very quick considering you could just save and quit back, and you've only wasted probably 30 seconds or so if it doesn't pan out to be anything important. In this case, just 3 bombs.
Meanwhile, Grotto gets 20 rupees and just a bomb upgrade over at the dam, so he's going to be checking Mini Moldorm.
Yeah.
Probably be dropping over to Bo at this point for it. Mini Moldorms take 2 shots from the fighter sword, and this can be a little bit of a trolly location.
Probably going to want to grab that bomb, yeah. So another 5 checks here. We get a blue rupee for 5, another blue rupee. A lift upgrade in the power gloves, and a sword upgrade in the master sword, along with a full heart container.
So GGG is basically looking for a hammer at this point, is what he really wants to see.
Yeah, and what you don't really want to see necessarily at this point is the lantern. Just because it would be an indicator that, you know what, AGA 1 is possible to be completed.
Yeah, but that lamp will also open up, technically, will open up Death Mountain. Mm-hmm. It'll open up the back half of Eastern, so Armos Knights if something's there. You could even, man, there's a lot. Ice Rod Cave, on the other hand, let's see what is in here.
Another full heart container. That's actually a nicer spot to be in. I'm sure our runner's happy to be at that 5 heart spot at the 14-minute point, along with red mail. You can see there that those crabs, which normally do 2 damage, 2 full hearts when you're on green mail, only doing a half a heart now. Much nicer.
Yeah, those crabs kind of protect the Ice Rod Cave, so you don't go there too early to get to the Ice Rod in the vanilla game. We're seeing the fake flipper from GGG. I really like this play. Just going to check out what's on the island over here to get some info. Probably check out Hobo, and then go up north to Waterfall and to Zora.
Yeah, and if you see there, we can find that the silver arrows are on Lake Hylia Island, so our runners are probably going to find some time to route that in once they hit the flippers, if they find the flippers at a reasonable time.
Oh, absolutely.
Not necessary to win, but always makes things a little bit easier in that Ganon fight.
I mean, as soon as they find the hammer, I wouldn't be shocked if they could do Hype Cave to check getting those silvers, since they already have the bow. And there is the hammer.
So that really changes a lot of the potential pathway for them. Eastern Palace is still completable if they want to logic break the Dark Rooms, but that opened up a lot of areas in the world that are logically in sequence, and we'll see if it changes anyone's routing decisions shortly.
Oh no, I can see GGG doing his Zora checks up here, and then immediately doing Hype Cave and the hammer into Death Mountain.
Yeah, that's the call that I like. Tower of Hera, of course, being a pendant in this example, kind of makes it less exciting or less efficient if you're trying to stay out of the pendant dungeons, but still a very worthwhile check. We get a empty bottle and a bomb upgrade from the Waterfall of Wishing.
Oh no, Hera is just that one dungeon that if I am in the area, I'm probably dipping it. It's only 2 items, but it's a very, very fast check.
Yeah, it's very short. There's also the possibility that it ends up being basement locked, so it might not even really be accessible anyway.
We'll see what King Zora has here for GGG.
Yep. 500 rupees for the lantern. Ooh. Very interesting set of items to get early on in a randomizer seed. Again, we have Dark World access, and we have East Dark World access with the hammer, so it could really go anywhere.
Looks like GGG's going to head over to Eastern. So that lamp was technically in logic with the glove upgrade. They can technically get up there. They just use fake flippers to get to it a little bit faster.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. They wouldn't have been able to check the Waterfall of Wishing, but Zora is always in logic once you have a lift upgrade. So Harshless Hut gives us another piece of heart and a full heart container. So we're in a healthy situation now, and very well equipped.
So yeah, anything that they access with that hammer, that hammer is required to go to, is going to be behind a sequence break, though.
Yeah, so it's quite possible that this logically was an Aga required seed to get that East Dark World access, but with finding the hammer at the Hobo, very, very easy.
Yeah, we could very easily have like flippers on Pyramid or flippers at Catfish.
So here we see green pendant at Misery Mire, Turtle Rock is the other pendant, and our 5-6 crystals are Swamp and Ice Palace.
You know they gotta like seeing pendants at both Turtle Rock and Misery Mire. Because they may not have to go into those. Misery Mire only having 2 items, and that's kind of a spread out dungeon. Turtle Rock just takes a long time to finish. Oh, and there are the flippers at Hype Cave. So we are back into... no, we're not in. We're not in logic still.
Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to get to Hype Cave without the hammer. So, very interesting logical break here. And I'm gonna think, I have a feeling just by what was logically available to them that that this might have been an Aga seed, so that they would have access to East Dark World through the castle portal.
I always like seeing sequence breaks because I think they add a layer to the game that's fun and makes it more difficult to expect what's going on. I hate commentating on them because it just confuses the heck out of me.
It does make it a little bit trickier to figure out what's logically required. So Zelga's about to run into a little bit of a problem here as he tries to open up the Palace of Darkness, hoping, I hope, to get some rupees out of Saharshala's hut, as he does not have enough to pay the monkey toll.
Gotta pay the monkey toll to get into that Palace of Darkness.
So, of course, he's going to be able to head into Eastern Palace no matter what, and perhaps find some rupees there.
I mean, he'll be able to go to the rupee room and get enough.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But after that, both Eastern and Pod are fully completable.
And those are two excellent dungeons. Well, Palace of Darkness, of course, is an amazing dungeon to get done. Lots of item checks there. Being able to complete it on your first entrance early on is just a great feeling. So Zelda actually goes ahead and leaves the Dark World portal back in that maze. It's a great idea because when you acquire enough rupees, you're just going to be able to go back there and pick up the monkey at the same time instead of having to backtrack again.
Yeah, he's still picking up a couple rupees that you normally wouldn't grab anyways. So he knows what he's going to do after this.
Mm-hmm.
Now we are about to see our most knights over here on GGG's side. Just getting through the couple red Igors here. And he will be taking on Ganon's large adult sons here.
What's very interesting is not only are we well equipped, they're also GTG getting bodied by our most knights there. Couldn't quite find the right location. I was saying we're already at 4 bottles as well.
They wanted to make sure you got that heart piece from Sick Kid.
So running out of arrows here is not ideal. Master Sword makes it a little bit better. This is not something you see every day, a sword fight against the Armos Knights.
And Eastern not really holding much for our players, just the crystal, which they do need, but they don't really find anything progression-wise in there. GTG is going to go ahead and save and quit, and we'll see where he goes from here.
Yeah, disappointing not to have enough rupees at that point.
He's going to go do the hype cave play, and we'll see if he picks up the silvers, not the silvers. Yeah, no, the silvers down here.
Yeah, he's going to be able to grab the flippers out of hype cave and then think to himself, man, I wish I had done that before I just fought Armos Knights.
Yeah, having a silvers and a bow early just feels really good. There's a lot of enemies in the game that you can one-shot or two-shot.
Additionally, GTG's down to his last bomb there, so...
And there's Zelda grabbing the Rupee Room over here in Eastern.
Yeah, it's very surprising that GTG didn't make that little play over there, but it's one of those locations in the dungeon that you might not really be aware of if you're used to speedrunning the game, and you don't think you know only the paths that you normally take. It might not be something that you think of at the time, or maybe it's just slipped your mind.
Yeah, these tournaments, being especially rebroadcast, can put a little bit more extra pressure on you, and sometimes you just forget. And Zelda getting the skip on Armos. Great job there.
So now I anticipate that zelgadissan was going to definitely head into Palace of Darkness. GTG going to make their way up to Village of Outcasts, I would assume at this point, and get those checks taken care of.
Yeah, you can full clear Thieves Town. That's always a good dungeon to full clear as soon as you get access to it. You get 4 items there.
So now you see that this little pathing worked out really well for Zelda. Kiki the monkey ready to be utilized to open up Palace of Darkness.
So we can get confirmation that Aga was required if we find mitts or hammer or mitts here in either Palace of Darkness or over at Catfish. And this was bow lock. Thankfully, they found the bow pretty early. Going to head over here into the right side of Palace of Darkness at the moment.
So Chest Game is going to give us our first Village of Outcasts look. There's the 100 rupees that GTG really wishes that he had earlier.
And he gets the Sanctuary Heart.
And straight into Thieves Town. I like this. At this point, there's nothing that you're going to find that in Village of Outcasts that is going to make Thieves Town any better or more easy to complete or faster. I suppose boots, but what are the chances?
I mean, Blind's going to take the same amount of hits no matter what weapon you have. And he's got the Can of Burner too, so Blind should be pretty simple.
So far finding 2 dungeon items in the first 2 chests here. 2 more locations in the front half of Thieves Town.
Well, we know that big key's got to be in one of those 4. So he'll have to go into the back regardless if he wants all 4 items.
Yep. So our first item here is 50 rupees out of Thieves Town. And another full heart container.
All those extra hearts will come in handy in some of these rooms with a lot of spikes, especially the Hellway.
Yep, the runners kind of went from being low health to very adequate amount of health in a very brief amount of time. Less than 15 minutes.
Yeah, we're going to be about 33 minutes in when we get our second crystal for each of these racers. That's real fast.
Yeah, this is a great speed through the seed at this jump. Of course, this all means that there's the great potential for the final items necessary to complete things being very challenging to find.
Red Cane over in Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, another item that will be very helpful in Ice Palace and potentially that alone, since Misery Mire and Turtle Rock are both pendants, of course, nothing is preventing an item from being in those two pendant dungeons.
And there's the gold gloves.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, still an out-of-sequence pickup because of the hammer being lost behind the flippers. Which this means finding the lift upgrade there does guarantee that we needed to do Aga 1, at least as far as the logic was concerned.
Zelda is just buffering here to make sure that he gets this hammer jump, so he can go into start with the big chest and just make his way out of the maze and only do it once. It misses it.
Yeah, trying to save that key because there has to be one in here.
And over in Thieves Town, GTG picked up Bombos. So who knows if that's going to be necessary at some point.
Yep, it might be our way into Ice Palace.
Yeah, it's always really nice to have Bombos if Ice Palace is going to be required. You'd rather be able to just use Bombos against Cold Stare rather than use your Fire Rod, especially if you do not have full magic going in.
So with that, the second crystal for GTG.
At 32 minutes in.
2 minutes. Very nice blind fight to make that happen.
Oh, and I don't know if GTG is forgetting the C-shaped house or not.
It does have access to the south area now with the... Oh no, he doesn't have the Titansmiths.
Okay, he's going back up.
Yeah. So it's kind of... I must say that this is actually not a great turn of events for GTG. The fact that the Titansmiths are in Palace of Darkness, and he wasn't able to immediately route that after Eastern Palace. So that's going to be a significant, I think, advantage for zelgadissan, just to have that free mobility around the world at this point, and the ability to shift in and out of the Dark World at more locations.
We'll see what GTG gets cursed with here. Good turtle rune by Zelda. One of my least favorite runes in the game.
Just cursed with the red boomerang.
We'll see Helmasaur over here on Zelda's side. Zelda just using hammer strats on Helma. Very fast, though.
It doesn't have the silver arrows yet, which would make that a one-shot fight. Already has the hammer out. So dig game for GTG now. We'll see if the seed is nice or trolly with the amount of digs necessary to find the item. answer is incredibly trolly. We
27 digs for 1 rupee.
for 1
And
rupee.
getting the text box.
Ugh. That's just a feel-bad moment.
At least you'll know that Zelda has to do it as well.
So we'll get our look at Cave 45, the cave south of Grove, as well as what Stumpy's holding on to. A piece of heart.
To think 15 minutes ago they would be picking that up, and now GGG's got probably enough hearts to last him for the game.
Yeah, at this point, health is no longer a concern.
Zelga's only got 8. I would probably still pick it up with him. I'd go to at least 10 hearts.
Yep, we know that there's going to be a couple of hearts that they're about to pick up. Right here. And there's one in Thieves Town as well. GTG choosing not to come out of this with in the Dark World, where they would have been able to check at least Graveyard Ledge there along this path.
He's going to go ahead and check the Witch's Hut. Only going to find some bombs there.
That might make an opportunity to pick up some blue potions.
So yeah, we are potentially only a fire rod, a hookshot, and either a book or a flute away from go mode.
And then, of course, the boots potentially being a problem. But we don't know yet. So our runners are going to be showing us areas that the other has already covered, with GTG heading into Palace of Darkness at this point, and Zelda making their way through Thieves Town. So at this, I'd like to remind our viewers here, all the runners, but these two specifically, have are putting on a great show for us. They're participating every week, 512 runners. It's a lot of fun, giving us lots and lots of hours of entertainment. So if you don't mind, I'm sure both of these two would appreciate a follow. You can find their channels in the chat. So throw them a follow, give them some love, if you don't already do so.
Yeah, and if you want to get into Rando, you can go to vt.alttp.run and find all the info you need there. There's a great Discord server as well that you can join up with. There are pickup races happening all the time that if you just want to race with 2, 3, 4 people. There's a 10 p.m. nightly race as well. That is a great race to sort of get practice with. You can always, what I do is later on I watch my race versus somebody who finished in like the top 5. Watch those side by side and see what you did that they didn't and what they did that you didn't, and use that to get better.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun just watching yourself make improvements. I know that when I first started, I think it's typical for everybody's first seed to take a real long time, despite thinking that you understand the game and you know what's going on. And then with every single reduction of your time, it feels good.
Yeah, getting your first like a sub 2 hour is always a really good feeling.
Oh yeah, that was a great moment. We have had some exceptionally fast races in the course of this tournament already. I know that we've seen a 1 hour 12-minute jet seed that just runners flew through. And
yeah.
I watched an hour 14 one in week 3 as well. It was pretty impressive.
I think we just saw TGH do around a 120 the other day. Yeah, I mean, he's one of the top racers in the tournament, so there's no shock there. But yeah, you can keep getting better and better at this.
Yep. And then, of course, there's the potential that you'll get a 2 hour and 10-minute seed that there really wasn't much you could do about it.
Living the double dip Ganon Tower dream.
Yep. I've seen some running out of arrows on the to get past the mimics in Ganon's Tower. And then also some drama with Master Sword, Silverless Ganon, causing some people a lot of trouble as well.
Yeah, I've seen too many races determined in those last 2 or 3 minutes to know that, like, hey, you want to go in there as prepared as possible.
So with that, Zelga gets their crystals. So we're not 3 crystals on Zelga's side in 40 minutes is really nice.
So I half expect Zelda to head down to Ice Palace after he works his way through some of the overworld checks here. He's got Bombos. He can pick up silvers while he's down there. He's got a red cane. He's got the gold gloves. Ice Palace seems to be the play.
Yep. First, of course, going to go dig 27 times for 1 rupee. So a lot of manual back-breaking labor. Less than minimum wage.
And GGG is not necessarily behind. Even if he is, he's probably not that far behind. Nothing that Zelga really picked up in Pod really helps him so far. He is going to be able to do the blacksmith quest here, but aside from that, he hasn't really made great use of his gloves yet.
Yeah, this will be the first time that he can kind of do something that GTG was unable to do.
GGG saving a little bit of time there just from Zelga when he tried to get the bomb jump.
So Zelga, of course, is going to be able to get hammer pegs, the blacksmith turn-in, the powder, and the purple chest check all done at one time, which is a nice, efficient use of this path.
Yeah, if you're a GGG fan, you don't want to see anything important in any of these 3 checks that he hasn't already done.
Yeah, with Randomizer, you can never really be sure what people's actual positioning is, just based on you don't know what items they're going to need, and you can't tell if they're going to route in the exact same fashion as their opponent. So if you spend a lot of time doing overworld checks that you don't get anything progression based out of, and your opponent checks somewhere else and does find progression, it can really turn the tables immediately.
Yeah, the Randomizers is still the same game, but it's still a little bit different than, say, like doing NMG runs. In NMG runs, you can generally tell at any point who is ahead. Randomizer, you may see somebody with 4 crystals versus somebody with 1, and that somebody with 1 can just come back and win just because they happen to check 2 or 3 extra chests that may have had a sword upgrade or boots in it that weren't necessarily required.
I like to think of things in terms of how much of an advantage that a runner might have. In this case, Zelga has a slight advantage just for having found those Titan's bits earlier. It's allowing for more efficient routing. But
if this purple chest ends up being a bust and GGG decides not to go back and do that quest line, then they are neck and neck again.
That's absolutely true. Although I must say, I feel like there's too many items over there that he's going to be able to want to look at with the Jeremiah hammer pegs and this. That's 3 checks. And Overworld checks in V29 being very valuable.
And there's that single arrow Helmasaur kill.
Yes.
Now, we still got a lot of places checked, though. Skull Woods hasn't been checked. The Ice Palace hasn't been checked. Just the big 20 from the purple chest.
Yeah, and I think Zelga's probably going to do as you say, head into Ice Palace. Ice Palace without the hook shot is not a bad dungeon, it's just Ice Palace. Runners at this level are going to be able to handle it with no problem. But having the hook shot does mean that you don't have to make that second bomb jump, or you won't possibly have to make it, depending, of course, on where your keys are found. So a lot of runners would prefer it to have it just for the insurance, but it's not the end of the world.
Now, we are going to get our first Death Mountain check up here by GGG. Death Mountain may not necessarily be required until Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, but there are a significant amount of items to check here. You have Spectacle Rock, the cave under Spectacle Rock. There's 2 in Tower of Hera, although they are pendant. There's also Spiral Cave on the way down, Paradox Cave on the way up for 7. There's so many. And then the Dark Death Mountain side with 2 in Super Bunny. Spike Cave as well is available to our runners. And the first cave, if they find the boots or the hookshot, then Hookshot Cave is going to have some additional checks as well. And the Floating Island.
Yeah, Death Mountain's just fantastic to route if you have all the items necessarily. GGG really only needing a hookshot to get everything up here, aside from the tablet. And Zelda completing Ice Palace, which is a crystal, but it's only got 3 items in it. And one of those is the blue boomerang, so not necessarily what he wanted to see.
Yeah, definitely not the item that he was looking for there. GTG remembering, hey, I have Cane of Burn, I can go ahead and do Spike Cave.
Oof. And getting the fire rod there.
Getting a required item out of it is very nice.
Okay.
Interesting. Choosing to save and quit and head to Sanctuary instead, probably indicating that they're going to go right into Skull Woods with this instead of continuing their Death Mountain checks.
Yeah, that seems to be the play. They can always save and quit and go right back up too.
Zelda having a little bit of trouble getting this first bomb jump set up. Gets it there on the 3rd try. You know, this is going to feel real good if Skull Woods leads to some more progression. But also it's going to feel real bad if you have to go back up Death Mountain again at this point.
I mean, on the plus side, at least it was just Spike Cave, so he was not necessarily losing too much time. Maybe 30 seconds to 45 just for that short little climb. If he jumped out after, say, like Spiral Cave, that probably would have been a little bit worse.
Yeah, probably want to, at that point, continue on and complete at least one half of Death Mountain. The Dark or the Light World. Of course, that could all be changed if we find Hookshot here, but instead a Tempered Sword, which is very nice. Here we see Zelda making that second bomb jump. Really well done. Looks easy, but that is a much harder bomb jump, I find, than the other bridge skip.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have the easy sword or top of their sprite if you're using a Link sprite. It doesn't have that sort of visual cue that you would normally see. There is one, it's just a little bit more precise.
Yep. Of course, if you can hover, then it's not hard at all. Oh, Zelda forgetting to push the button there.
Getting the big key there in the Ice Age room. See what is up here with... Man, it's been so long since I played Vanilla. Is this normally where the big key is? And that's the map. GG is making good use out of the bumpers there.
Yeah, that was a neat little trick to just grab a few extra frames saved.
Yeah, I've seen people do it with the Dark World trees as well, the bomb trees.
Mm-hmm. Another real nice bomb jump set up there by zelgadissan.
Yeah, I normally see that done from the top, but he did it from the bottom. That's real sweet.
Yeah, that was smooth. Just almost no time at all.
And we're seeing the back half of Skull Woods here. We know there's still one item. It could be in the chest that we just saw on the bottom part of this area. It could be on Mothula, and it could be in the big chest.
He's going to want to be careful. He's going to have to probably make use of the lantern to get through this next room. Doesn't have quite enough magic.
Yeah, having Tempered at this point is nice to deal with the Gibdos. My least favorite enemy by far.
Ooh, that Wallmaster almost grabbing him.
Oh!
I was mistaken just enough. Of course, gonna have to sword this Gibdos. Thankfully, having picked up Tempered, it's not so bad.
I didn't quite get a chance to see what was in that big chest over on Zelga's side.
Yeah, I as well missed it. I was watching that pathway through the torch room there.
It looks like it was a small key there, and GGG making quick work out of Moth.
Oh, that was a fast Mothula fight.
Getting
And
his
finding the
50
second-
rupees.
So he knows he doesn't have to go back into any of Skullwoods there. That's really nice. And at the same time, Zelga is finishing up Ice Palace.
Oh, hammer cold stare. Oh, yuck. Gross.
Getting two nice swings on all three of them, though. That's pretty nice. Making use of the top rail here to prevent the ice chunks from breaking up.
Yeah, Ghostster's just not playing nice and heading up there as much as he'd like, though.
So for those of you who are unfamiliar, if you're on the very top run, wall there, the ice chunks will not break into their four component pieces.
And man, nothing in Ice Palace, whereas GGG checking out Death Mountain gets the fire rod out of there.
And as well the Tempered out of Skull Woods, so
Yeah.
we can see that the tables turn a little bit on advantage for items. What'll be interesting here to see is if Zelda chooses to make that Death Mountain play. Looks like that is the case coming from Sanctuary. And I'll be very interested to see if Zelda decides to keep at it after finding the Fire Rod, providing, of course, you check Spike Cave early on, or instead continues, does the same maneuver that GTG did and immediately heads to Skull Woods.
Oh, what if Turtle Rock is Bombos? Gross.
After picking up the Fire Rod and then walking past it, you might think, well, I've got Cane. Maybe I should go in there. There's so many items. And it could be the play.
I mean, there are technically 5 in Turtle Rock, 6 if you want to count Mimic Cave, which you probably should. Yeah, oh, gross.
Though it should be said, at 56 minutes, both of our runners are in really, really good pace right now. So, even if that is the case and they have to make that Turtle Rock dip, it's not going to be something that pushes them past an unreasonable time mark.
Yeah, there is the chance that Zelda may wait until Spike for the end of the Death Mountain checks. If he does, and that is the play, is to go into Turtle Rock, that's big for GTG.
Mm-hmm.
Big if true. And that looks to be what's happening. He is not going into Spike Cave.
Instead, going to go through Tower of Hera real quick.
We're getting our first look at Agina, one of those Sphere 1 locations that hardly ever gets checked early. Man, if there's a flute in here, or if there are boots in here, GTG's going to feel very much behind, but that'll actually put him pretty far ahead at that point. Just a Pizza Heart. And it looks like a full heart container there on the floating island. And Zelda going to do Bootsless Spiral Cave. Lots of fun. The GGG is going to be on his way back up Death Mountain. We'll see what Zelda gets here in Spiral. So we have 4 crystals for each player. GGG's got the Fire Rod, whereas Zelda has completed Ice Palace and doesn't have much extra. GGG's also got a Tempered Sword, so it's going to be able to do a lot more damage to enemies. We're going to take a look at Death Mountain Dark World side here. And so I'm just going to mirror in front of the cave down here. That saves a good bit of time. And GGG's going to check out Hera, see what's in here. This could be a big play. See, one of the items is just a full piece of heart. I don't know if I would continue after that. There's only one other item in here. And this is a pendant. Zelda only finding a heart piece and a heart container in Paradox so far. We'll see what's in the 5 chests up here later on. Having Temper to go through Hera is going to make it very fast for a dungeon that's already a very fast dungeon. 20 rupees, heart piece, 20 rupees, bombs, and Quake. So if Turtle Rock happens to be Bombos or Quake, man, that is hard to not dip into at that point.
Yeah, it's really going to make a big impact on Zelga's decision once he gets up to the top here.
And for all this theorizing, what should Turtle Rock be Ether?
You almost hope that it will be for the runner's sake at this point. And as well, Zelda still has to make their way over to Spiral Cave just to pick up that fire rod, so...
There's the magic cape. That opens up Bumper Cave, that opens up Bumper Cave because they don't require the hook shot for that. But neither of us know what's on there.
So GTG getting the Trolldorm fight out of the way now.
And very, very fast there. And it looks like Turtle Rock is going to be Bombos.
Oh.
Zelga's going to go
for it.
Looks like the other Hera item is in the basement, so let's see if GTG goes for that or not. Ugh, at this point, I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, and without making that stop by for the fire rod, this is just really...
Oh, he's going for it.
We may just be opening it for now, but I gotta believe that if you're doing this, you're going to look in.
I mean, Fire Rod may not be necessary until actual Trinex. There is a specific set of the way the keys will work. Zelga's going to check it.
Yeah, this is really hoping, crossing your fingers here. We need to find a key, I think, in the first chest.
Need key or progression in here.
Yep. Oh.
And Ether.
Now the real kicker is going to be when, if Zelda does recall to check Spike Cave, pick up the fire rod and be like, uh-oh, do I need to go all the way back up the mountain here?
He is going back. I don't know if he's going to be checking Hera or not. I did not get a chance to see what GGG got in the bottom of Hera. Zelga is going into Hera as well. Looks like a heart container in Hera.
It's just a piece of, just a heart.
It's like full hearts in both the basement and the, where you would normally, just that first item you check. Yeah, at this point, I'd probably give the edge to GTG just for having that fire rod. Zelda is going to grab it soon if he remembers to do Spike Cave.
Well, especially if Turtle Rock ends up having something progression in it, which is a fairly decent chance of being the case, and he chooses to go in, then yeah, absolutely, it's going to be a big difference for the two runners.
I mean, you have to make that decision at this point, I think. Which terrible dungeon do you go into? Do you go into Swamp or do you go into T-Rock?
Well, GTG also has Ice Palace as a potential location. That's another factor that may be weighing heavily on his mind.
Yeah, Hookshot could be in that first chest or second chest in Swamp. That first chest is always going to be a small key, but I've seen Hookshot show up there before in the bombable wall chest, and it's not fun. Yeah, Hookshot could be in Big Chest, could be in a couple other chests. It just won't be in the back half of Swamp. I think it was Hammer that I saw on that bombable wall, and that is absolutely not fun.
Yeah, when you find a vanilla item in a dungeon, it just feels wrong in Randomizer. You're never really expecting it.
And Zelga's going to go ahead and grab his fire rod here.
Yep, and this is going to be an interesting branch of logic here. Does he choose to go into Turtle Rock right away, or will he go to Skullwoods like GTG did?
And does GGG go into Turtle Rock and go even further into it than Zelda did?
So Zelda, seeing that Zelda's moving to Chosen Sanctuary as the starting location, that definitely indicates that we're going to go into Skull Woods there with that Fire Rod. Grabbing the Tempered Sword's nice. And GTG going to head into Turtle Rock.
Yes.
Well, perhaps not.
No.
Just opening it up for later, I guess.
Well, he's got his red cane out, so he'll probably make his way back in.
Hasn't done Super Bunny Cave yet, so grab that cape and another heart.
Yeah, Skullwoods might be the best music in the game. Just sounds like a evil Empire march.
So unfortunately for Zelda, choosing to go to the back first means that he won't have the Tempered Sword for the start of for the Mothula fight. I'm sure he'll find it on the way out.
I still think it's the better play. If you don't know what's in the chest, and you have access to the back of Skullwoods, I think it's much better to start in the back.
Yeah, there's a pretty easy chance that you'll find both items there.
GG going to go ahead and continue into Turtle Rock. This is a gutsy pendant Turtle Rock. Things are pointing towards that direction.
Yeah, and we know that it's most likely the right play to make because we've seen Ice Palace on Zelda's side, so GTG remembering to take the slow route because it does not have the hook shot.
Yeah, something you hardly ever actually see.
Yeah, it's funny how often muscle memory sort of takes over and you go the wrong way. You're like, oh right, no hook shot.
Yeah, having somebody in chat asking, are they neck and neck? This is a very close match, and we really don't know who is in the lead right now.
Yeah, with GTG having to do Ice Palace and Zelda now finishing up Skull Woods, it's really also going to depend on what we find here in Turtle Rock.
And we know there are 4 items left, and then Mimic Cave. This is big plays. And Zelga's just going to waste a little bit of time checking this last chest here. We know there's nothing in there. Tempered Sword is back in, I believe, the diagonal chest.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's not a bad check, though, because we have the mirror, so it's going to be looking out.
It's about a 10-second loss, but still, in some of these races, 10 seconds can be a lifetime.
So big key in Lava Bridge, or Lava Island.
Now this might as well be the Mario dungeon. You got pipes, you got pokies, you got chain jumps. Got ice physics in Trinex's room.
So Zug is going to be happy to see that Tempered Sword. Just kind of makes things a little bit nicer. And is going to have the opportunity to check Bumper Cave here. So we'll see a new check in just a few seconds as GTG is heading into Mimic Cave.
Yeah, every one of these checks GTG does is going to be game-changing if there's something in there. This Bumper Cave, however, just a red rupee, so that magic cape was a little bit of a bust. But let's check out Mimic Cave here. Just 50 rupees.
So Zelga's going to go and show us Graveyard Ledge. We haven't seen that yet as well, so could be a game changer.
My least favorite location in the game. I hate it.
Well, it's just awkward to get to at any reasonable time, and you can see here it still is, like, not being able to check King's Tomb and Bumper Cave at the same time. Or, not Bumper Cave, sorry, Bonk Rocks. Just kind of feels like, ugh. And I'll be curious to see if he heads over to Catfish from here.
Now we are on our way down to the auto-scroller room. The closest thing to an auto-scroller that this game has. And Trinex does have an item. Ugh, gross, yuck, gross.
GTG got a little turned around there.
Want to go fishing? What's it called when you like try to catch a catfish with like your fist? Is it
noodling?
Noodling. We're gonna go noodling.
And Catfish gives us the book. Oh, that's access to Desert Palace. Which is another crystal dungeon, so that's potentially significant progression here. We're looking for either that or the flute. So that's a very good call, as well as giving some tablets, making some of the tablets available.
Here's our last chance for... Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no! How much does it hurt you to have one chest left in Turtle Rock and have that happen?
Saving and quitting. Oh my gosh. Oh
yuck. No. What an awful feeling. Alright, Zelga's going to go ahead and show us what's on Pyramid Ledge. So at this point, unfortunately for GTG, Zelga has found progression elsewhere. GTG did not.
He's going to go down and check out Ice Palace right now.
Yeah, and that's the definite play to make. I think you have a dungeon that you can clear. Zelga's going to go ahead and head over to the Dark World just to get access to the tablet here, and then head into Desert Palace. Now, of course, Desert Palace has the potential to be boots locked. So I'm sure Zelga's going to cross their fingers.
GG not having magic to clear out that first room. He needs to go over and get some potions or find some magic pots somewhere. He's not feeling good.
Yeah, just an awful turn of events here. So let's see if the game wants to be really nice and give us boots here for Zelga right before entering Desert Palace. Nope, just a single rupee.
The most opposite thing of boots. No, that's probably gloves.
Making a good call here to check what's on the ledge. Seeing it's 10 arrows, so no need to head out down there. I think GTG, it looks like, is going to head into the Dark World here. I would anticipate that he'll make the north route as well, get Graveyard Ledge, and hopefully, for his sake, going into Catfish.
If you're a GGG fan, you're going to be hoping that Desert here is boots locked. So listen, these two chests over here on the right side of Desert. And the flute. Yeah. Means hook shot, and that is go mode. That book was required. You have to go up to Catfish.
Yep. Zelda, I thought, changed his mind. I thought, isn't even going to go look at what's on the torch, but then decides, you know what, I'll see that that's another item. So now you know that you don't have anything else to find here in Desert Palace. Just go kill the boss.
They do need boots or hookshot to even get into Mire, though. I mean, they can open Mire up, but they can't go any further than that.
Well, Mire is another pendant. Turtle Rock has that last chest in Turtle Rock that we haven't seen. And we could have hookshot in the first chest, that bombable chest, or one of the early chests of Swamp Palace, so... There's also Mire Shed's going to be available, Checkerboard Cave. Now that Zelga's picked up the flute.
So GGG's plan looks like Swamp, but if he goes up here and finds a book, do you think he goes to Desert instead?
Yeah, I think that's got to be the play that you make at this point. You don't have anywhere else to go, unless he chooses to go back into Ice Palace, now that he picked up green goo and filled up his magic container and has a blue pot ready to go.
I mean, he drank a green pot just so he could get some magic. He's thinking ice, but this might change his mind.
Yeah, and we know that it's not really... Ooh, look at some slashes there. Emphatically slashing the air. You know, Catfish has been available to the runners for a long time, so...
And yeah, he's going to Desert.
And when it leads to the flute, that's going to even feel worse, because flute being a tremendous advantage in mobility, opening up a lot of areas. You'll have to think like, oh, what if my opponent did this early on and I didn't?
So Zelga's probably going to go check the Mire Shed and Checkerboard Cave. If nothing there, you've either got a Swamp Gamble or a T-Rock Gamble.
Yeah, and I think at this point for Zelga, the call is to just head into Swamp and hope. It's a very quick set of checks. Going all the way up to Turtle Rock as your last possible check place might be the right call, but there's just a lot of potential in Swamp that I think that you'd want to make a look at first. But absolutely, Checkerboard, Mire Shed, those are your go-to places first off.
So we got 3 checks here we can do in Mire. Got the Shed. I don't think Zelga checked the ledge, so he's got 2 Mire Shed and Checkerboard Cave.
Now, the worst thing to find, hookshot would be nice to find. Worst would be the boots, I think, at this point, because then you'd start to think, well, maybe I have to go into Misery Mire.
Or a shovel.
A shovel. Just another fetch quest.
Ice Rod would be really bad to find.
Oh, yeah. Well, it could be, or it could be very telling.
Oh man.
You could see the pause there as Zelda looked at that and thought of all of the implications, and you just cast a curse.
What hath I wrought?
Oh, wow. So now it really is a difficult gut call. What's going to be even more impactful is if GTG sees it and thinks about what they should do in that moment.
Oh, that's just gross. It's gross. Looks like he is probably going to go. Well, he's got the flute, so we don't know.
Well, he's pulled out the shovel, so he's going to go ahead and deal with his fetch quest. I like this. It's not a long check, and if you're going to go with a time versus item checks if you're wrong style of math, this is a very easy choice to make.
And half magic, very nice to have, especially if he is going to go into Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it's certainly nice if you have to head up to Turtle Rock, and it looks like Zelda's going to go down to Swamp Palace instead. And as some people in chat have said, I like this call at this point. It's not an awful long time until you become hookshot locked. There's for the number of checks that you're going to be able to make.
Yeah, there are 4 checks, possibly 5 you can do without hookshot. There's 6 items in Swamp, so it's super dense. It's just, man, ugh, gross.
Now, we also know that there's only 2 potential locations left in Turtle Rock for there to be the hookshot. So Zelda doesn't have that information, but with our knowledge, this makes this even more attractive.
You can't use your flute yet, GGG.
Yep, you gotta go talk to you gotta go play it for the bird. Now, what you really want to see here for Zelda is like an early hookshot, just letting you go mode this dungeon. And the last place you'd want to see it is on something like Big Key Chest, or perhaps the left side area.
Oh, this will probably be 20 rupees in here. Oh, just a big key. I thought maybe I was psychic.
Just testing yourself. It's actually nice to find the big key early, because it gives us that additional check before having to head to left side of Swamp.
And GGG is going to go ahead and grab his ice rod up here. And
Yeah.
I don't want to even think about what's going through his mind at that point.
Now, I believe it's quite possible if we find boots somewhere. Oh, there's the hookshot.
Hookshot in the vanilla location. And that is go mode for Zelda.
I was about to say, it would have been possible for there to be a hookshot on the on the pedestal, as long as we found boots somewhere to give us access to Misery Mire. But there we go, vanilla hookshot. And at 1 hour 24 minutes, Zelda's in theoretical go mode.
Yeah, I mean, there's still the chance that Bob's Torch might come into play. That's still dangerous.
Now, finding the ice rod there for GTG actually might make him feel a little bit better, considering he didn't. Oh, and he's going to head up to Ice Palace now. Considering he was unable to finish Turtle Rock, it might make him think, oh, well, you know what? I needed to kill Trinex anyway, so perhaps might feel a little bit better about the situation. Unfortunately, that was not the case.
Yeah, this is the last crystal for Zelda too, and GGG still got to do both Ice and Swamp.
And for it to be essentially go mode, Swamp Palace is very quick.
Yeah, there's about a 4 to 5 minute difference between a go mode Swamp and a full clear Swamp. Especially when you're that fast with Argus, jeez.
Yeah, that was nice. Missed with the silver arrow. Try again.
I personally don't like doing that weird, well, hit him where he's going to be. I try to hit him as soon as he lands. I tend to do a little bit better that way.
Yeah, I just spam arrows and hope. And with that, Zelda is going to be heading up to Ganon's Tower.
So we have a game we like to play in the randomizer community. There are 22 possible locations that the Ganon's Tower Big Key could be in Ganon's Tower. Get your guesses in. Normally we would play the game on the Speed Gaming channels, but we can't do the leaderboard here on ALTTP Randomizer. Do you have a location that you think it would be in?
You know what? I just want this seed to continue to be the biggest troll ever. So I'm gonna go with number 3.
Ah, man, if it's on Bob's Torch, that would be... Oh, imagine me doing the Italian chef kiss into the air. I'm going to say Fire Snake Room.
Yeah, and at that point, you still basically clear Ganon's Tower in the hope that the boots are in there. But it would literally make it that the boots could be anywhere.
I mean, there could even be a shiny pair of footwear on the pedestal. So...
Wow. Fortunately, we'll find out relatively quickly if it's going to be that kind of a troll situation.
Boots on pedestal, key on torch.
Oof.
At that point, they could be literally anywhere.
Yeah,
except for Bonk Rocks.
And King's Tomb, I suppose. That's about it. So here we go. Zelda's going to take the traditional route to the right-hand side for at least these first 2 treasure chests.
Yeah, chest 1 is a compass. Chest 2 is a small key.
Yep, going to mirror out, head over to the left side now. So, the moment of truth, you know, is there going to be a sinking feeling in
Fingers
their
crossed.
stomachs? Oh, disappoint. So we know now that Zelda is in definite go mode.
Let's see. 3 was an arrow upgrade. We'll check 4 through 7 here in the skeleton room.
I usually don't like to see troll situations.
Ooh.
Oh, look at that, number 4.
Just going to check see if boots happen to be in here. Or a sword upgrade, for instance. But, nope. Zelda having more than enough arrows to complete this. Getting a bot drop off the mimics, which is always nice.
Yep, and there are additional 5 right in this room as well if he chooses to pick them up. Doesn't really need them though, with 20 silver arrows. Oof.
Oh.
Making it a challenge. Now the real gut check call here for GTG is going to be, after he finishes Ice Palace, do you go right to Swamp, or do you think, oh no, I've left something up there in Turtle Rock?
For his sake, I hope he goes to Swamp.
Absolutely.
Whew. Well, he has the magic for it and motions, but geez, that was almost scary.
Zelda flying through these gauntlet rooms, just making quick work of everything. Heads into Land Mollis 2 with 18 silver arrows to try to one-cycle it.
And you would have to think that just adding one little fireball shooter wouldn't mess you up too much on Land Mollis, but just that one thing really makes this fight so much more harder.
Yeah, it really does. Just messes with your positioning.
Oh, where is GGG going?
Not to Kakariko Village. I'm unsure. Oof, Zelda takes the fall there. It's a nice recovery though, using the conveyor belt.
GG, I think he's going to go check Pyramid. I don't think he's been up there yet. Yeah, this is going to show, like, with Randomizer, like, one gamble can pay off and one gamble can't, and that can lead to a win.
Yeah, and like this particular race has gone back and forth several times, where I would say that certain players were in better position than others. But as soon as that last item is found, it really locks things in. If they're this separated by this much left to do in the game.
Yeah, Zelga's pretty much at Aga 2, and GGG still has to do Swamp, but he is on his way.
He might be looking at Ether Medallion Tablet. I'm hoping that he doesn't go into Turtle Rock again, but
we know there's nothing really there for him. Like, I mean, aside from possibly boots or a butter sword, but both of those are not required for this seed. Yeah, he's checking the tablet. Whereas we get Aga over here on Zelga's side. And good double there from the beginning. And another.
oh, almost another double. Oh, thankfully GTG just checks the tablet instead of heading back to Turtle Rock. Gonna go to the dig spot.
So I get his half magic there, which is really nice to have. Probably one of your better safety items in the game. Back off, buddy, indeed, and we are on to Ganon.
Zelda getting a great transition into the first phase.
Getting great 80s music reference there from Ganon.
Whoa! Managed to dodge all those fire bats even though they were converging directly on him.
GGG, funnily enough, once opened up for 311 on a show when they were on tour.
Oh no, GTG, are you going back to Turtle Rock?
Oh no, GGG.
Oh, a nice double into the torch glitch, perhaps? Yes!
Wow.
Into another double. Oh, I was almost a hyper-impressed setup there, but Zelda takes down Ganon in an incredibly quick fashion. That was almost amazing, 2 doubles in a row. But
Zelda is going to finish with an official speed racing time, speed racing TV time of 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 47 seconds.
yeah, GG in chat there. Congratulations on Zelda going ahead, pulling up to 4-1 record, 1 step closer to the guaranteed spot in the brackets.
It was a cool seed. Thanks, VTorp. And yeah, GGG going to go into Swamp. He'll get his hook shot there in the vanilla location. We'll see if Zelda wants to come in for an interview.
So we'll see in a few seconds how GTG feels about vanilla hookshot. Zelga in chat letting us know his opinions of this particular seed.
Saying it's a dumb seed and not a cool seed, as the seed tried to tell us. And we will see what level of rage slashes we see from GTG here. Oh, he's checking the bottom first. Go back up.
Just the standard pathway, you know. It's hard not to change your clearing technique.
I'll probably be a little bit harder on him than most other racers.
Oh no!
Oh no, GTG!
GTG going left side.
Zelga going to join us here. Zelga, how are you? Congratulations.
Hey, GG's. There is nothing dumber in the game than vanilla hookshot, I swear.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just hard to want to make that call. Fortunately for you, You managed to do so without taking a first look into Turtle Rock Dip beyond that first chest. Were you tempted to head there at any point? Especially, I noticed there was a little pause when you picked up that ice rod in Checkerboard Cave.
Yeah, that was it. I was like, oh man, I knew that as soon as I left Turtle Rock, I went and got the fire rod from Spike Cave, and so it was always on the back of my mind. Like, am I really gonna need to go back there again? I've had my go mode in this tournament twice on Laser Bridge. Once was a pendant like this, so I was just thinking the whole time I'm gonna have to go back here and do it again. But I just followed my gut and decided I'm gonna just go into Swamp. I've cleared so much of the game, so we'll just see what happens. And I got really lucky with it.
We just seen here in your credits the sprint shoes, the boots, were on the pedestal.
Oh wow! Well, guess I'm glad I didn't need those.
I think fingers were crossed all around that Big Key was on that torch at some point.
Yeah, I was a little worried about it going up, but thankfully, don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, you actually got to completely skip Aghanim that fight, or that race. That was technically an Aghanim required seed.
Yeah, I just hopped into the stream. I was wondering if maybe my opponent did Aghanim, but it looks like probably not. Okay. I thought that might have been my advantage.
He did a full clear of Turtle Rock once he made it up there, because he did Spike Cave first. So he went on into Turtle Rock and got all the way up to the laser bridge and ended up both falling off and getting hit by a laser at the same time, and noped out with one chest left on laser bridge.
That's the worst when that happens.
And then he as well, finding all of these items that were breadcrumbing you up to Turtle Rock after the fact. Almost went there again until I think maybe he saw that you had completed the race, and that changed his routing path. Yeah,
that makes sense. I think literally the only thing I could do outside of going back up Death Mountain was going into Swamp. So
why did he mirror out?
I think he knows where he is.
Why did he just mirror out of Swamp?
I'm not sure what the thoughts here are. Oh my goodness, I think he thinks Meyer is a crystal.
Well,
nope. I think he's just having fun with us now.
Oh, GGG. Sorry to step away from you there, Zelga. We're just some odd stuff happening.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
worries.
that was a pretty good run, though. I mean, 136 for what should have been an Agaseed without boots. That was very nice.
Yeah. Looking back, I guess I could say I'm happy with the run. For about the last 40 minutes, it was really stressful, just because I just couldn't find anything I needed whatsoever. So I guess overall, I'm not too upset with the routes that I chose, especially being able to skip Aghanim and just go directly and do like Eastern and Pod together. But yeah. Oh, it was very stressful, that's for sure.
I think GGG is giving you his version of GG here on the stream.
Yep, and with that, he has officially retired from the race. So GG to GTG.
See if he wants to come in here as well.
We'll see if he'll pull in. So Zelga, now that you've completed this race successfully in the first place, you move to 4-1 in the tournament. One more win will secure you your spot into the brackets. How do you feel about your chances at this time?
Relatively decent. I've got 2 games left. I got to win one of them. But everybody this high up in the brackets is a killer. So, I mean, it's not going to be a cakewalk by any means. There's a ton of people that I would never want to see in a race that decides whether I go on or not. And they're all in that 4-1 or 5-0, soon to be 5-1 group or something. That 3-2 to 4-2. It's going to be rough to make it, but I'm looking forward to the challenge.
I'm trying to pull GGG in here.
Hi, is my mic working?
Yes.
Hello.
It's absolutely working.
Good. So yeah, I didn't even think to look for the vanilla hookshot. That was my last choice, and it didn't even pop into my head until the very end.
Yes, we were wondering if you were heading on your way back to Turtle Rock there, thinking about that last chest on Laser Bridge and as well Trinex after you found the ice rod.
Yes, especially since I hadn't seen the dun on the other side yet. I was starting to consider the possibility that it maybe was going to actually be a pedestal seat at the end, that maybe Turtle Rock would have boots or something, letting me do Mire, but it didn't shake out that way.
Funny you say that. Boots was on pedestal.
Oh, really? That is actually quite funny.
Yeah, and yeah, it was a fun race to watch. Lead was back and forth a lot of times. You actually did Spike Cave first, so you got that fire rod, and then went over to Skull Woods. I basically just came down to the Turtle Rock nearly full clear on that. That just kind of it wasn't the right play.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be rando sometimes. Sometimes it goes well for you. Sometimes you lose the coin flip. I'll definitely be looking forward to coming back and checking the VOD for this. I think the part that rattled me the most was when I found the Book of Medora on the catfish that late, because part of the reason I had put off the Ice Palace dip was I had forgotten that I needed either Flute or Book of Medora to get into Desert. So I was going to go there at first, thinking I just needed the hook shot, but then I started to think, well, I could end up being tricked into double dipping if I do that.
Yeah, funnily enough, Zelda only found the book probably about 10 minutes before you did. So even though that flute was available very early, especially with both of you skipping Aghanim, both of you got it around close to each other.
That's pretty interesting to find out. Yeah, I'll definitely be watching that to see exactly when he routed in his swamp dip and see if I can learn something from that.
It was in the game. It's go mode for both of you guys in there with the hook shot.
That's about what I figured with the way the items flowed, so it'll be interesting to see exactly how that played out.
Yeah, you guys did have it was very back and forth for the vast majority of the matchup. So I think you'll get a lot to see, kind of a lot to learn, and the possibility to just kind of pick up on what each other did to make some improvements. But it was fantastic. It was an exciting and fun race for everybody in the chat to watch. So thank you to both of you for such a great show.
And thanks for having us. Very much appreciate the restreamer, the trackers, and commentators. And I just realized I'm doing something Zelda and I promised if we found early powder, we would do this in Kakariko. So since that didn't get to happen in the race, there we go.
As we all watch.
It was actually kind of funny. We were talking about this in the pre-race chat. I was like, for an example, if you find powder on the race game, don't go back into town for this. And that's exactly where it was.
I was laughing so hard at that.
Nice. That's something I don't think I've ever seen. So GTG, so that puts you now in 3-2, still alive, still lots of potential to hit the bracket stage of the tournament. How do you feel about that and your chances making it through week 6 and 7 with a couple of wins?
I feel good about my execution, giving me decent chances. It'll definitely come down, I think, to what opponents I draw and how lucky I am in the actual seeds. I didn't get to show it off today because of the missing in action boots, but I did go out of my way to learn to hover, so maybe that will save me in the end.
Ooh, exciting. And you're successful at that?
I can get across the Moldorm 2 gap about once every 2 minutes. Not something I can pull out for swag, but if I can leave hookshot behind, it's fast enough.
Awesome. Well, as we're about to wrap things up, Zelga, is there, I'll give you an opportunity. Is there any shoutouts or anything that you'd like to kind of finish off with before we close out the stream and head to the next matchup?
Not really. Just thanks for the restream, the commentary, the tracking, all the work that got put into this. GG's, GTG. Good luck in your next race. Look forward to hopefully catching you in the brackets along with me. And since it's Mother's Day, shout outs to moms everywhere.
Yeah. Echoing the shout outs to moms, and good luck, Zelga. I hope you make it.
Awesome. Thanks,
Zelga's
guys.
going to move up into 4-1, and there are some dangerous people up in there, so good luck there. We do have a couple of races going on right now on ALTTPR 3. We have I Have No Name SDA versus Barker Baller. On Speed Gaming 4, we have Fountain versus John the Gun. Then on ALTTPR 2, here in a few minutes, we got Oyster versus Rocket Racer getting ready to start. So definitely check those out. I want to say thanks to our tracker, OSS Geek, and our restreamer, Hanson. Great job by both of you guys. And, of course, Crowzone, fantastic job doing commentary with you, man.
Absolutely, I agree, Virtual Cat. That was a lot of fun. Everybody's information is thrown up in the chat. If you liked what you saw and you appreciation to OSS Geek and the runners, please, by all means, give them a follow, and I'm sure that they'd greatly appreciate it.
Thank you all, and you all have a great night.